I'm Tammy Schotzko, also known as Tidy Tammy with Tidy Tammy Organizes. As a fellow entrepreneur and a small business owner for over 13 years, it's my honor and privilege to be part of this collaboration with the Small Business Development Center and the Northwest Minnesota Foundation, offering resources for entrepreneurial mental health. As a certified professional organizer with a Master's of Science in Human Behavior, I've spent the last 10 years working with entrepreneurs and business owners where I commonly hear they're feeling overwhelmed. They've got too much on their plate and in their heads, and there just aren't enough hours in the day to get it all done. Does it sound familiar? It does to me, and no worries, you're in the right place. There's all different types of clutter in our world: physical, mental, time, emotional, you name it. And they're all of them are competing for our attention. And oftentimes our physical surroundings reflect our internal selves, but not always. We have to consider Albert Einstein's rumination that if a cluttered desk is a sign of a cluttered mind, of what then is a clear desk a sign of? Hard to say. We're all different. If I've learned anything from my time organizing and decluttering, it's that we each have our own way of processing stuff and work environments. For some of us, a pristine and uncluttered workspace is an absolute must to operate efficiently. And for other people, that stifles their creativity and they need their stuff strewn around. What's most important to glean out of this conversation is how you feel about your workspace, whether we're talking about the physical aspect or the mental. When I'm working with entrepreneurs, I'm equally cognizant of the physical and the mental clutter. They often go hand in hand. Working on either one of them affects the other. So enough background. Let's talk simple strategies for tackling the overwhelm, the too much in your head and on your plate, and the not enough hours in the day, moving away from agonizing and into organizing. These are simple strategies that require no more than a little bit of effort on your part. And maybe you're thinking simple isn't the way to go, that you've got a bigger challenge and it requires a bigger solution. And I won't argue, but I'll gently point out that we are most successful when we start small and build into the complexity. Think about any large undertaking you've done. Maybe it was losing weight, taking up a new hobby or a sport, or building something. It doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen all at once. We don't get good at a new hobby immediately. We don't lose 10 pounds overnight. A project doesn't come together in a day. We start simple and small and build on that success. So what are these simple strategies? The first one that I absolutely love is using a timer. Timers are easy to find. You have them on your phone. You have them on your microwave. You have them on your oven. You have them everywhere in your life. When you have projects to do, if you're procrastinating, if you can't get things done, set a timer for 15 minutes. If you're still going after 15 minutes and things are clicking and everything's working, then keep at it. But if you're churning and you're not making any decisions and you're just shuffling things around, the timer going off is signifying that it's time to walk away from that project and try it again another time. It's also a way to chunk out our day and do little tasks in little spots and get things done. One of my favorite timers is the time timer, and I like this one because A, it's very simple and non-techy, which I am not very techy, but it also gives me the opportunity to kind of see where I'm at time-wise. So if I've got it set for half an hour and I'm at the 15-minute mark, I realize that I'm about halfway through the time that I've set aside and I need to either get cracking or get more done. That is one of my favorite tools. And they also have a digital version of that too. Another strategy is setting boundaries. And I mean this in many different ways, but the one that I'll talk about today is more with your time. In that when we're at work, we're at work. When we're at home or in a social setting, oftentimes as entrepreneurs, we bring that work with us and we're just always on. And one technique that has been very helpful for both myself and other entrepreneurs and solopreneurs that I've worked with is using a scheduler on text and email. So for example, maybe you sleep with your phone by your bed and you get a text at, 1 o'clock in the morning that blah, blah, blah happened and you feel like you need to take care of that. For me, I have trouble going back to sleep after that type of thing and it's on my mind. So what I practice doing is typing the text out so that it's off my mind and then scheduling that text to go out during business hours the next day if it's not imperative. A lot of times for solopreneurs, like I said, we're always on, we're bringing our work with us. we have a personal phone that doubles as our cell phone for work or whatever that looks like, and we're constantly getting information coming in. For many of us, we don't like having that in the back of our mind. We're afraid we're going to forget to respond. And a simple way to do that, again, is to type out the response and then schedule it to go out during business hours, whatever those business hours look like to you, if it's not an imperative thing to get back to. Same with email. Maybe you pound out a bunch of emails on a Sunday morning at 3 a.m. or 6 a.m. or whatever time you like to work. That doesn't mean that they have to go out at that time or that people have to realize that you're working during those times. You can schedule those emails to go out during business hours, whatever that is to you. The other nice thing that scheduling things to go out at a different time than you created them is two things. It gives you the opportunity to think about it. So for example, if you had a text scheduled to go out on a Monday morning, but you realized sometime between the time you typed it and the time it was scheduled to go out that you missed a detail in it, you can go back in and add it. Or maybe you said something in a way you didn't really want to, or you had time to think about it and you want to change your response. It gives you that window of time to do so. Same with email. It gives you an opportunity to think about it, rephrase it if you want to, and then it goes out. But it definitely takes it off your mind, and you know you've addressed the situation and it will be handled during business hours. The third strategy is, again, simple, tidying up your workspace at the end of your day. Now, I'm basically talking about your physical workspace here. This is actually a form of setting a boundary, but it also gives you a clean slate for starting the day fresh when you come back. For some of us who work on laptops, that might be our only workspace we have is the laptop. Something as simple as shutting the lid to the laptop and walking away from it can signify that we are technically done with our work day, even if the work follows us into the rest of our day. Tidying up your workspace, that can be whatever you want it to be. If you're the creative type that needs to have everything out, I'm very visual. I like to have everything nice and tidy and in its spot on my desk. That works for me. For other people who like to have piles or they need things out on their desk, all tidying up means straightening the piles, making everything kind of fresh for the next day, and kind of putting it to bed for the day. So again, it doesn't take much to do, but you might be amazed at the difference it makes in your re-engagement the next day. So 3 simple strategies to start tackling clutter of any type. And maybe you're thinking that this is way too elementary, but studies show that we are more successful when we start small and build on our successes. So I challenge you to start today with any or maybe all of these strategies and build from there. If you're interested in exploring additional ways to tame the chaos that might be your life, you can visit my website at tidytammyorganizes.com and schedule a complimentary phone consultation with me. You can also reach out via email at tidytammyorganizes@gmail.com. I would absolutely love to hear more about what's going on in your world and how we can work together to support you in reaching your goals. Happy organizing. Don't agonize. Let's get you on the road to organized. Have a great day.